Alright, so we just recently reached Trailblaze level 50 and Equilibrium level 4, and I know there's a follow-up video to the one that we have recently made, Equilibrium 3 tips that we had about, you know, what are the things, efficient ways to use your stamina and stuff like that. So now we are jumping into Equilibrium 3 versus Equilibrium 4. I know a lot of you are probably wondering about it, so we rushed our way towards it. Okay, so but before we start talking about the drops that are in here, let's talk about just kind of the general progression. Basically, going from Trailblaze level 40 to level 50, it takes about 47,000 Trailblaze EXP, and your daily earnings comes out as about, you have 290 for the dailies, and then this is your 240 stamina, and 24 times 50 you get EXP, and you get a total of about 2,650 Trailblaze EXP. So it would actually take you approximately 18 days without any refreshing of stamina or using fuels to go from Trailblaze level 40 to level 50. Now note that buying stamina will actually give you an additional about 2.4k if you max refresh the stamina, the 8 refresh that you have every single day. With using these gems with the Trailblaze power, you can get up to 8 here, and that's additional earnings. It would roughly double your speed. Obviously, if you're just not doing anything, it's 2.6, but then with 2.4, that's like double. Now without further ado, basically it takes you to 18 days, and I'll tell you what are probably the most efficient ways to use your stamina. So first things first is like the EXP, how we are going to differentiate it with Equilibrium 3 versus Equilibrium 4 is like in Equilibrium 3 you were getting about this much items, purple, blues, and greens, and it's equivalent to roughly about 37 to 38k EXP. And then for Equilibrium 4 you're getting roughly 45k EXP. So that would be roughly about 18% increase going from Equilibrium 3 and Equilibrium 4. Now try to take a note of this percent increase, because this will come in handy in helping us determine which one is good to go for. Light Cone EXP, this one, the Bud of Aether, is like 9k EXP, and then it actually just goes from 9k EXP to 11k EXP. Doesn't seem a lot, but it's actually a higher increase comparatively to character EXP. It's a 22% to 27%. And then there's the trace materials. This is the trace materials, Calyx Crimson. You know, when you start getting for the distraction characters, preservation, like the different like paths. So at Equilibrium 3 you are getting only roughly about 0 to 1 blue and 2 to 3 greens, and then I convert them into how many greens total. So basically the maximum is that I've seen is at least 1 blue and 3 greens, which is equivalent to a total of 6 greens. Now you can tell that it's very RNG at this point. And just to give you an idea for Equilibrium 4 though, for Equilibrium 4 it's like 0 to 1 purple. It seems like it's averaging just 1 blue statically, and 1 to 2 green. And so total is roughly 4 greens to 14 greens. Again, it's RNG, and there is about roughly a 50% to 133% increase on this one. You might say that, oh, like it went from 2 to 4, but so wouldn't it be 100%? Well, not exactly, because like the rate of purple, it's not even rate. Like the drop rate of purple is about probably 1 every 6 runs or so. You get like roughly 1, at least based on my experience. And so it's about roughly, actually on average, maybe it's actually closer to 50% increase. Now let's talk about the Stagnant Shadow, which is the next one. It's as simple as it goes from 3 times to 4 times, so it's a straightforward 33% increase. So now let's try to talk about, I guess, just the progression. I will talk about the relics and echoes of war. Actually, I guess I can talk about it right now. But the relics, it actually goes from one drop to 1 to 2 drops. I would say it's about 50%. I can't confirm because there's only so much limited resource, but I think it's roughly 50% going, whether it drops 2 drops of 5-star or 1 drop. And for Echoes of War, this one goes from 2 to 3 drops of the traces and 1 to 2 drops of the 5 stars. So yeah, that would be on average. I'll talk about that later on, but it is about 50% increase, right? For the relics and the Echoes of War, and same with Simulated Universe too. It's the same way as the Cavern of Corrosion. So let's try to talk about just a scenario of like, let's just say a normal user trying to upgrade their units. They have probably 1 5-star unit, and then they have 1 main character. They're upgrading main character, and then let's just go, and this is just trying to lowball like the estimations. We have 4-star units, six 4-star units. So, and then probably I'll just upgrade 6 light cones. Maybe there's 1 or 2 units that you probably are not as focused in upgrading. Maybe you're upgrading their traces, or maybe not. But again, this is just a random like scenario, right? Like, take it for with a grain of salt. And the whole point of it is like, we're building 8 units to start building 2 teams for Memory of Chaos, because this is around when you should start like trying to build that kind of team sets. So going back at it, the trace materials scenario, they're used for skill upgrades and for upgrading light cone. And I'm just gonna work towards the same scenario that we have worked on. Let's just say that you have a 5-star character that uses about like, for going from level 6 to level 7 actually. And I want to tell you just now, going from level 6 to level 7 only needs 3 of them for a 5-star, but then once you go from level 7 to level 8, you start needing also the Echoes of War drop, so just beware. So what I'm calculating for now is just 1 level up, going from level 6 to level 7, and you need about you're gonna upgrade about six nodes on it. So there's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's those are the upgrades that you are going to use. So you would need about 18 purples on that one. And then same with the light cone. I think I didn't calculate a 5-star light cone, but you need 5 trace materials on that one. A 4-star character, 12 right here for a single character. And then a 4-star light cone, upgrading from 60 to 70 uncap, you need 4 trace materials. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna multiply a few things here. Right now, I am fully upgrading that 5-star character. I'm just gonna assume that, you know, maybe you have Sealy that you got and you're just maxing them out, right? And then we have a 4-star character. I'm gonna upgrade just 4. Maybe the 2 of the 4-star character were too poor to upgrade for now, obviously, but again, this is just early on, so that by the time you reach level 50, how prepared are we gonna be? And so I'm upgrading 12 times 4, it's 48, and so we need 48 purples for the 4-star characters. And then MC, I want to point out that MC kind of has a little bit of bad scaling to my perspective, like 46 to 47, and like the amount is 5.6 to 5.8. So I'm not like as keen on upgrading MC immediately. So for now, either that or I'm gonna share some resources with some of the 4 stars, because not all 4 stars are gonna be upgraded. So for example, there are some units that are only made for buffing, like for example Tingyin, and maybe we're not gonna upgrade their auto attack, and then I guess like that will carry over to MC's resource instead, or another character resource, right? So I just want to point out that not every 4 characters we're gonna upgrade all skills that they have, right? We're not gonna upgrade like every single skills that they have. So let's just go with that. And all in all, I upgraded the light cones. There's six lights, 4-star light cones. All in all, we need about 90 purple trace materials, so that's why. And going back at it, doing the calculation here, not gonna bore you. 90 purple, 810 greens, and if I farmed it at equilibrium 3, it's actually just about 230 stamina. It'll cost about 230 stamina, which will cost about 8.5 days of our farming. If we farm at equilibrium 4, then it's actually just 5.5 days of farming, like plus or minus, because this is just with average of 6 greens. And so this is like calculating it at its lowest, which is about like 50% average. But you could be lucky and you could get more purple drops, and it could drop down to 3 days. So what I'm saying at here is, for trace materials, if you actually farm on equilibrium 4 instead of during equilibrium 3, then you could be actually saving about 3 to 5 days if you farm there at equilibrium 4. So this is actually one of the better ones to farm, because again, trace materials could go from 50% to 133%. So next one, after trace materials, let's go with stagnant shadows. Stagnant shadows, they go from simply from 3 times to 4 times, about 33% increase. Each 5-star character is about 20 essential materials, and 4-star characters is 15 essential materials. I'm gonna count 1 5-star character, and then the main character, and then 6 4-star characters. We need about 110 essential materials, and then you start to divide it. So it's actually, if you farm at equilibrium 3, the 110 essential materials, I divide it by 3, because of you get 3 per run, and you get a total of about 37 runs for the 7 characters, 1 5-star and 6 4-stars. So it'll take about 37 runs. Multiply that by 30, because it costs 30 stamina for each, divided by 240 per stamina per day. So it'll cost about 4.5 days worth of your stamina. But in equilibrium 4 it'll cost about 3.5 days only. So basically, in this situation, if you farm stagnant shadow during equilibrium 3 versus equilibrium 4, you're only actually saving about roughly 1 day's worth of stamina if you farm stagnant shadow early on equilibrium 4 instead. Going back to, so we talked about the trace materials, and then let's go to talk about the character EXP also. So this is another big thing, right? Character EXP was only about 18% increase from equilibrium 3 to equilibrium 4. And so what I'm going at here is, let's just say I'm actually upgrading about, I only need to farm about for 4 to 6 characters right now. And the main reason for that is because going from Trailblazer level 40 to 50 gives you about 1.44 million EXP, because of the amount from EXP from Pom Pom. And then there's a few more, I think, that you're getting some maybe on events or the battle pass if you bought the battle pass. So what I'm gonna just calculate here is, I'm just gonna calculate farming for about 46 characters. And if you calculate it, if you farm it during equilibrium 3, you're using about 6 to 9 days worth of stamina. If you go from 4 to 6 characters, about 6 to 9 days. And then if you farm during equilibrium 4, it's about 5 to 8 days worth. So the TLDR of it is, like, if you're farming character EXP equilibrium 3 versus equilibrium 4, you're only saving 1 day if you farm at equilibrium 4. So similar to stagnant shadow that I just talked about, you are only saving about 1 day. So what I'm going at here though is if you're getting close to, if you're kind of seeing the pattern here now, the ones that have really low percentage increase are actually, it's less beneficial to farm them at Equilibrium 4, which makes sense, right? Like, why would you farm them if at Equilibrium 4 if their experience, their increase is just minimal? Meanwhile, trace materials actually gets about roughly 50%, and you know, if you get super lucky, it could go up to 100% increase on your drop rates. So what I'm saying at here is kind of like how it's going at is, it's better to start farming for character EXP and stagnant shadow materials right now, because you're actually just saving about roughly one, like, for if you farm later on Equilibrium 4, you're only saving like a few days worth if you farm the character EXP later. So it's actually good to start farming character EXP while you're at Equilibrium 3 right now, and stagnant shadow materials. So these are good things to farm right now while you're at Equilibrium 3. Same with light cone. I did the calculation as well on that one. It comes out with the 6 4-star light cones that we are upgrading. These are kind of like how much EXP we go through. I think I just calculated up to this one, the one level 60 to 70. You start needing only 5 days versus like 3.75 days or 4 days worth for Equilibrium 4. So you're only again, for light cone, you're only saving 1 day. But I know there are some people where the situation is different, where they have a lot of like light cone spares. So if that's your situation where you have a lot of light cone spares, then maybe you don't need to start farming that. And then talking about this again, the Cavern of Corrosion relic simulated universe, I believe it's about roughly 50%. Maybe it's not 50%, maybe it's like 75-20 or something like that. I don't have a lot of stamina to test this out, but at least from what I've heard from other people, it is roughly about 50% chance to get either 1 or 2 5-stars on Equilibrium 4. So completely RNG. But again, if we're going to look at all the percentages, you have character EXP at 18% increase only if you go from 3 to 4, and then light cone is at 22, trace material is 50 to 100, stagnant shadow is 33. So the ones that are worth farming during Equilibrium 3 are the ones that have low percentage increase. So it would be stagnant shadow, light cone, and character EXP. Those are the ones that are worth farming during Equilibrium 3. And then when you jump to Equilibrium 4, the ones that are worth is trace materials, which is 50 to 100%, and the Cavern Corrosion or Simulated Universe, which gives you about a 50% drop rate increase with the chance. Again, but then again, it's like completely RNG, right? Echoes of War, I mean, you know that you should always just farm the higher one if you can reach that higher one, obviously. And you always have to farm this anyway, so it's like every week. So for that one, there's no really calculation necessary. If you're gonna reach level 50 this week, make sure to push to level 50 Equilibrium 4 and then do it. Or if you're not gonna reach it, then just feel free to just do the Equilibrium 3, right? And so basically, for the suggestion of 2 to 5 weeks, the 2.5 weeks you have while you are in Equilibrium 3, because again, if you look back at the beginning, it takes about roughly 2.5 weeks. You can start farming for character EXP, which is worth about 6 to 9 days, and then start farming for stagnant shadow, which costs about 5 days total at Equilibrium 3. And then what we're gonna have left over is about 4 to 7 days left of farming. And how I would recommend it is, like, you could start farming EQ EQ tree with either, if you have a lot of light cone to farm, then this is one of the better times to start farming it. But if you have a lot of spares, you think that you have a lot of spares, then you should start then you could probably start farming Cavern of Corrosion or Simulated Universe, or maybe more character XP if you feel like you're upgrading more than 8 characters, right? These start farming more of these. So those are kind of your options with the leftover of the farming that you have. And again, that's kind of just how I would suggest doing it. This is one of the better ways to be at least stamina efficient as you're going through from Equilibrium 3 to Equilibrium 4. One thing that I would like to let you know, the EXP required for light cones, so that in case you're wondering, okay, should I farm light cone or not, this is how much it costs. I don't think I have the 50 to 60, but I mean, you probably have that information already for 5-star. But for 4-star, 50 to 60 is about 115,000, and then light cone is like 176 for 60 to 70 for 4-star, and then the 5-star 60 to 70 is 218. So just beware on how much light cone you need, and start looking into it if you think that you're going to need more light cone EXP. So that's gonna be on you to decide on that one. If you're using like 3-star, okay, so that's the experience needed for 3-star. But yeah, these are my suggestions basically if you want what you should start farming while you're in Equilibrium 3. Obviously, you know, if you're behind on trace materials, I guess I don't see why not you should farm. But if you're patient enough, you could probably just wait until once you reach level 50. But if you feel like you don't wanna wait, I mean, who am I, your mother? Anyways, that is gonna be it. Thank you for watching the video. A lot of notepad gaming. Oh my god, you guys, I swear my viewers, it's like I don't edit it anymore. I'm just writing it on notepad. It's not even an Excel sheet, it's just a notepad. Oh my god. Anyways, you guys enjoy. If you guys find this helpful, just go click that subscribe, like, leave a comment if you have any other questions. And if you guys want to come and chill with me, just come visit me at twitch.tv/KaiJLV. I'm pretty much on almost pretty much every day. And so give a follow on that, hit that subscribe and stuff like that, do that yada yada YouTube stuff. And I'll see you guys next time.